Yo, JB, you ever do that kid and play dance move where he grabs one leg and jumps over it with the other?
Yeah, look closely at my forehead. You can still see a scar from the corner of my coffee table when I tried this last week.
Join us at Hip Hop Movie Club's next live event, a screening of the original House Party movie starring Kid and Play, and we'll have a special appearance by the Full Force crew in person for a live Q&A. Friday night, August 16th at 7:30 p.m. at the Frank Banco Ale House Cinemas at Steel Stacks in Bethlehem, PA. Come for a throwback DJ set, Full Force, the movie, and some prize giveaways. Get your tickets now at steelstacks.org. Welcome to Hip Hop Movie Club, where three old heads put their old heads together to vibe on some of the most memorable or forgettable hip-hop themed movies of all time. And here's HHMC with your HHMCs, Boogie, JB, and Dino Wright. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3, House Party. Directed and written by Reginald Hudlin and produced by Warrington Hudlin, starring Kid and Play, Full Force, Robin Harris, and distributed by New Line Cinema.
House Party is a 1990 comedy starring the rap duo Kid and Play, in which Kid sneaks out of his home, despite being grounded by his dad, to attend a massive house party where all of his friends and the fine females are present. Along the way, Kid meets up with several obstacles, including the devilish Full Force crew. So, Boogie, what do you think of this film? What do you like?
Okay, the storyline, the chemistry, and the humor. This movie was released in my 8th grade year, so it pretty much defined my high school years. I mean, I even had a shirt that was similar to the stripe when that kid wears in the beginning of the movie. You know, Kid and Play, super funny guys, and they were just as funny as they were nice with the mic, with the lyrics and the dance moves. I mean, my favorite scenes are the epic dance battle between them and the ladies, and a rap battle between the two of them when they went at each other's heads, pretty much. But yeah, I love this movie. It's one of those movies that I get a feel-good vibe every time I watch it.
I know, right? What do you got?
Boy, such a funny film, and I had never seen it from beginning to end before. I've only seen like dance battle scene and a few things here and there, but from start to finish, it's a really funny movie. And I really enjoyed some of the things I saw in there, especially Robin Harris. It's so hilarious. Oh, when he said he started a fight in an empty room, I just lost it. And I think I read that he came up with that on the day. That wasn't part of the script. That was ad-libbed. I think he and John Witherspoon, who's also in this movie, again, devouring scenes, ad-libbed their lines. So shout out to them for being so funny on film.
Yeah, you guys nailed it. I feel like I use the adjective a lot here, but likable. You know, Kid and Play are just so likable. You know, you want to hang out with them. You would be friends with them, and they're relatable. You know, we went through this phase like around the same time. You know, trying to fit in, trying to be the cool kids, and you know, these guys were the cool kids, and there were so many funny scenes. You mentioned John Witherspoon, always a scene stealer, and he was shouting out the window at the party, talking about public enema. I spent $15,000 for this house, you know, telling the police, hold on, the girl's skirt is short. He's all distracted and stuff. It's only a couple inches from her thing. It's crazy. And you get to see Martin Lawrence as Bilal, and, you know, him and Tisha Kimball before the, you know, pre-Martin Lawrence show. So that was a lot of fun. All the escapades that happen as he's escaping Full Force. Those Full Force guys were hilarious too. With, you know, they're stumbling upon each other, and Pee Wee with his high pitched voice, like, "I'm gonna kick your freaking ass." I could just hear that. It was just nuts. Had a good time. It's a great time. You just watch it and you laugh.
There's like so many quotables in that movie. It's just ridiculous. And I think there was one thing that Dana Wright touched upon Friday with John Witherspoon, and just seeing him in this movie, it was one of the funniest parts. Every time I hear him say it, it cracks me up. He picks up the phone, and his wife is like, "What are you doing?" "I'm calling the police." the emphasis, the way he says it, just so hilarious.
So
And
good.
the public enema.
Yeah.
What's a public enema? What's a public enema?
You do a pretty good impression. That's good. I like it.
Oh man. Too funny.
Speaking of Public Enemy, though, at the beginning of the party, they're playing "Can't Do Nothing For You,"
Yeah.
right? And it's one of my favorite Public Enemy songs. But at first, I thought it's an odd choice for a party, given the subject matter of the song. But am I overthinking it? Like, it's really got a great beat. So was that the important thing? Boogie, can you help me on this?
It was all about the beat, because I remember when I first heard the song, I wasn't even listening to the lyrics too much either. I was just like, I can't do nothing for you, man. That beat was just funky.
It's
It
great.
just made you want to dance. It's like, oh shoot. I didn't really realize what he was talking about until like years later, because every time it came on, I could never sit still. So yeah, it was definitely all about that beat.
The lyrics are just so funny, and I thought,
Yeah, the lyrics are hilarious. They're poignant though too, because he makes some good points in it too.
yeah,
Typical Flavor Flav, mixing the comedy in there with some message.
Yeah, it's funny. Martin Lawrence, one of his like kind of breakthrough performances. He's a DJ for the party. He has these humongous speakers and all the equipment and the records, and they put it into this tiny car, into the hatchback, and they're all getting this big, humongous speakers are getting all scratched up, which is hilarious when you look back in retrospect. Now you can have tiny little Bluetooth speaker or everything out of your laptop, and now it's like, man, they had so much equipment to throw this party. Crates and crates of vinyl and whatnot. Yep,
Totally relatable. I was DJing at the same time, so I was really just learning how to DJ in the late 80s. So by the time House Party came out and going into high school, I was doing parties in high school, and I was dealing with the same stuff Bilal was dealing with. Don't scratch my speakers up. Don't bend my records. Don't warp my stuff. Don't. To this day, I could DJ a party, and I'm breaking down my equipment, and like there's people, typical gentlemen. Hey, can I give you a hand with that? Oh, I got it. I don't want anybody touching my stuff. And it goes right back to that same scene that he had to deal with. He was loaning in. It's like, a lot of that stuff is very expensive. So you don't want to get fandangled and Jimmy jammed up in something. So it's like I watch that scene, and it's like I laugh and I cry at the same time, because I'm like, man, he's scratching a wood grain. Couldn't wait.
Nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, I couldn't wait till I had speakers with the carpet on them.
Nice.
And like even now, my speakers now, they have like padded cases, padded covers, so I could almost toss the thing around and it'll be okay. But yeah, that scene always cracks me up. What are you doing? Oh man. There's a couple of other things that always crack me up too, is the reminiscent Hey Love commercials. Hey Love.
Yes. That was so funny. That running gag is so good.
Yeah, man. Those commercials are always on too.
Well, it's funny because Martin Lawrence has like no game in this, and they call him Dragon Breath. And he was funny, and the girls were nice. They were cute, Shireen and Sydney, and again, likable once again. And Sydney was played by Tisha Campbell, and Shireen is AJ Johnson. And they're always, they're the object of their desire and whatnot. It was funny when Bilal, played by Martin Lawrence, was trying to flirt with one of the girls, and his quote was, "You're warm and fluffy like a buttermilk biscuit." I was just cracking up with that line.
Yeah, that's when always and forever was playing.
Yeah, that was funny. But I love the like you said, the rap battle between Kid and Play. That was nice. That was great. They're going back and forth each other and just spewing the lyrics. And then the classic Kid and Play dance where they're tapping their feet together and spinning. And that's something that we always emulate at parties and stuff like that. Like just try to hey, I want to hook my feet, turn around and whatnot. And then the other classic dance move that you always think of with Kid and Play. You hold your leg and like jump over it. And I saw that Play was actually doing that and kind of stumbling on it in the house. And I was just laughing that he was kind of making fun of himself a little bit.
Yeah, I used to love that jump over the leg, man. First time I did that, I was in middle school class. And when I did it, everybody went nuts because nobody else could do it.
It's unique. I mean, I resort to do it in the pool now because there's no gravity and I can do it. That's the only way I can do it.
It's a safe situation to do that in. Yeah.
No, I can't do it now though.
I could never do it. I would trip and I'd be afraid to crack my head open.
I haven't tried that in a while. I should see if I can still do it.
I don't think you should.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise it.
Oh man. And then there was a scene where George Clinton was DJing for old folks out there, and Kid was teaching him how to scratch records. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, classic George Clinton scene.
Yeah.
I love that. That whole scene was pretty cool too because George Clinton, he was doing it might have been like a fraternity or sorority.
It looked like a fraternity.
Yeah, because they looked like they were like the older alumni from a fraternity or a sorority, and George Clinton was just kind of sitting there bored, just playing the slow jams, and kids like, why don't you just put the record on and get some of that scratching motion going on, and I'll get the mic. And then he finally gets on the mic. And he's trying to hype the crowd up, and the crowd is just looking at him like, what is going on? Who are you? Where did you come from? But you notice though, as he's trying to get the crowd hyped, there's this one lady that comes through. She's got like a pink top on, and she's getting it in.
Yeah.
that lady always cracks me up, man, because that's like my mom right there. My mom. Everybody's trying to figure out what this young song is, and my mom is like, whatever. My sister and I used to crack up. My sister and I crack up on that scene all the time because we just like, yo, look at her go. Shout
out to Boogie's mom. She's always having a good time. If you don't know, three of us went to Ryder U, and we would go back to some basketball games. I remember Boogie's mom being there a few times and dancing between all the timeouts and just stealing the spotlight. And I think it was like around her 70th birthday or so, and she was moving like she was like less than half that age. So bless her. She's awesome.
That was right after her 70th. Yeah, that was right after her 70th birthday. Yep. Yeah,
that's awesome. Move back into house party though, but everywhere that Kid would turn, you see this full force crew, and they had a vendetta against him because, he bumped into them at school or something. They just couldn't give it up. And these guys were like always on his case and stuff like that. And it's crazy because you're chasing him down. And unfortunately, the cops come and Kid gets sent to jail. He's caught like hiding in a freezer, running from the full force crew towards the end. It's crazy. And then that jail scene at the end, a little later on, the thing that I thought was funny, and we'll get to some of the things we didn't like in a bit, but the one guy's like, why are you in here? He's like, I cut out a man's heart. And the other guy's like, what are you in here for? He's like, I used to run a daycare center. It was totally like, what? It was what? Like, what was that all about?
Yeah, those guys were creepy.
Yeah. For sure. They were pouring gasoline. They were going to like set the whole house on fire at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a quite serious turn there in a comedy, but yeah. Like, whoa, arson's a real problem.
Yeah.
Arson's a serious crime.
They went from just, bullying a couple guys to like, we're just going to have an arson situation going on here.
Yeah, that was wild.
But the funny thing about it is, ironic as it was, is that those police officers, as annoying as they were, and following and harassing, even the language they used towards the young guys in that movie, had they not been trailing those guys, they would have never caught them.
Right. Yeah.
That's true. What I caught too, what was good, interesting, because we had already done in our first season, Origin of Hip Hops, there was a reference to Beat Street and Break-In as well as Crush Groove. there was kid's dad wanted to. Well, he wanted to watch. Was it Dolomite or something?
Dolomite.
But besides that, Kid and Play were talking, and they're like, "Hey, you want to catch the Friday night movie or whatever like that? I think they're playing. I think they're playing Beach Street." It's like, "Oh yeah, crush Google. Let me know when Breakin's coming on. I want to see that again." And I was like, "Yeah, we just talked about most of these movies. That was awesome."
It's the first time as a podcast, the film we watched referenced other hip hop films, so this was kind of a nice callback.
Yeah, it's funny.
Check out our episodes on Breaking and Beat Street, guys and girls.
I mean, there were some cringeworthy type scenes and dialogue and things like that. I know, Boogie, you mentioned the cops, the crooked cops. I mean, they were legitimately racially profiling Kid and Play. They pulled a gun on Kid's dad at one point.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, I think they said "freeze Negroes," so they were just nasty and racist. Another thing I didn't like was, well, a little cringeworthy was, the jail scene, and Kid was rapping to avoid being like sexually assaulted in jail, and he used the derogatory F word for homosexual. He was referencing Rock Hudson in a negative way. Another thing too, Kid was trying to be responsible about safe sex, and Play was like, it's all on her, it's all on the woman and stuff like that. It's her problem if she gets pregnant. And I was like, but hey, I mean, that was very topical. It still is to this day, but it was like, oh, that's a rough take on it by Play there.
Yeah, there's some sort of casual misogyny and homophobia, and when the cops confront Kid's dad, he gives it right back to them. And these days you think, oh, he would have been another statistic on the news, unarmed black man shot by police. But then I guess they got more leeway. I don't know. It's hard to say. And then at the end, there's this corporal punishment thing going on with Kid getting a whooping. But
I thought, I was cringing during that. Yeah.
On one hand, actions have consequences. You could even say they have principalities. But again, this is beating your kids to prove a point is not looked upon the same way now.
Yeah, he went way past the occasional pop on the hands. he beat him through a good portion of the credits.
He did.
And not only like, beat him, but like he kind of was demeaning him as he was doing it, like, cracking jokes and going a little bit overboard with it. I mean, in retrospect, like now that as an adult and as a parent, I look at it like, wow. I mean, back then it was hilarious, but like now it's like, whoa. I can never. Yeah, definitely a little cringy there.
Yeah, he was physically and verbally abusing him big time during the credits, and I was wincing during that.
Yeah.
We always ask, do you think this could be made today? And I know, right? We were talking about this earlier. There is a reboot being made.
Yeah, and a first for our podcast, it is being made today. Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema and LeBron James and Maverick Carter, aka Spring Hill Entertainment in this case, will be putting out I guess this is a reboot on July 28th. So soon after this episode comes out, it'll be available on HBO Max. So I guess it's direct to video or direct to streaming in this case. And it is being made today, starring Jacob Latimore, correct?
Yes. Yeah. I remember that. Yep. So you can look it up. There's a lot of info out there about the reboot that's coming up.
It's like they've been trying to duplicate the formula for years, and it looks like they finally found a way to make it work. Hopefully they did.
Put some links in the show notes for that. But
if it's not good, I would not hesitate to throw it in the vote and lock it.
We all should revisit that, do a special episode or something on the new house party.
I mean, there were 3 or 4 sequels on its own.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah, 2 was good. 2 was really good. I saw 2 in the theaters. The Pajama Jammy Jam.
Oh, is that where that comes from?
That's where it
I've
comes
never
from.
That's
where it came from. Yep. They threw a pajama jammy jam. Kid was working for the cafeteria staff as a what's the word, work study.
Mhm.
So he had the access to the keys, and they needed somewhere to throw a party to raise some funds. So they threw it in the cafeteria area, and it was a pajama jammy jam. It was an epic party too.
Right.
I recommended viewing House Party 2.
Nice.
Three wasn't too bad. Kids getting married, trying to settle down, and they throw him a bachelor party. Bernie Mac is in it. Immature, TLC, and I can't think of her name right now. Who played Felicia in Friday? She's actually Kid's fiance
Oh,
in the movie. Yeah, so you actually see her done up and not looking like Felicia from Friday. Before House Party,
Angela Means.
Yep, House Party 4. I came across it, and I know. So Marcus Houston was in it. So I don't know if the other members of the group Immature were in it. Well, I think at that time we were going by IMX. I don't know I think the others were in it, but I didn't get into that one. I was just like, yep, I'm done with that. Kid and Play's not in this one. I think right now everyone's trying to determine whether or not Kid and Play are going to make a cameo in this reboot or not. So that waits to be seen. I think. What do you guys think? Think they're going to make a cameo?
It would have to. I think they have to.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully they do. I mean, that would get me to watch it if I definitely get me to watch it if I knew they're gonna have a brief cameo in it.
I'd probably bet that having some kind of cameo in it.
Because in House Party 3, Tisha Campbell makes a cameo in that one. She's in town visiting family, and her and Kid come across one another, and they have a brief convo, and she kind of wishes him well. But so that was cool. But I would love to see Kid Play in this reboot.
I mean, what are Christopher Reed and Christopher Martin really doing these days? they couldn't hop on the screen for a few minutes, you know.
I mean, you think they get paid? Why not get paid?
Yeah. I remember a few years after the House Party series, I saw Christopher Reed Kid pop up as on Star Search. They like redid the talent show Star Search.
Oh yeah,
I remember him hosting
was on that. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
He hosted that for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I saw Play resurface somewhere. I can't recall where, but not too much.
The thing about the original, and we'd done some research on this, but Peter Deming, the cinematographer, had also done two of my favorite movies, Evil Dead 2 and I Heart Huckabees.
Yes.
And they're very different movies, and shows you his range. And he also did Scream and Austin Powers and My Cousin Vinny. It won a cinematography award at Sundance, and Reginald Hudlin won the Filmmakers Trophy at Sundance. So, this was a comedy that sort of had some firepower behind it. And so, from what I've been able to see from the reboot, I don't know that they've had this kind of firepower to it, and we'll see how the movie does. Calmatic is producing or is directing this reboot, so we'll see. They actually won like serious awards at Sundance Film Festival for it. So they brought in Calmatic. He directed the video for Old Town Road by Lil Nas X, and he's not a nobody. So let's see how it does.
Right. Huh. Hey, do you know that Reginald and Warrington Hudlin, the writer and producer, they're in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're the burglars.
That's right. Yes.
That are running from the dog. They run past and Kid gets trapped in a refrigerator. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And did you know that the roles were originally written for that Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince?
I think I did read that, but I forgot to note that.
But I don't know why. For whatever reason, they might have been touring, because Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince were huge at that time. They were going international, so they may have been touring. It might have been conflicts with the schedule.
I think that I wrote it in my notes, but I don't remember why I wrote it down in my notes. But I think they couldn't be in this film because of something with Nightmare on My Street. There's some lawsuit or something. Was that part of why they weren't
it
in
could have
this?
been. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do remember that lawsuit.
I have to look at that again, but there was something about that whole thing that I think prevented them from doing this film.
Yeah, this one is always a fun one to mention. So Tisha Campbell and I went to the same high school.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to Arts High.
Arts High School in Newark, New Jersey, the first magnet school for arts in the country. Tisha Campbell went there. Yep. Met her on a couple of occasions as well. She's very nice, down to earth. Actually, coincidentally, she was just there. Was it last week or the week before? Visiting the school. One of my former teachers posted it on Facebook that she saw on, might have been, was one of the news shows, morning news shows, one of the Good Day morning shows, and they saw that Tisha Campbell was visiting the school. So I think she contacted some people that was at the school and saw some pictures, and she had posted some recent pictures of Tisha's visit. But it was, she was just there maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago visiting. Yep, she's very down to earth though. Love her.
Nice. I was reading recently. I did some research. I think she sued Martin Lawrence for some sexual advances or something when they were on the Martin show.
Yeah, there was a big falling out between them because of some advances or something that took place. It's like, depending on who you talk to, depending on what story you hear about it, but definitely was a fallout from it.
And I think that there was a reunion within the past week or two.
It just aired. Yeah, it just aired on Friday.
Yeah, and then there was talks of them reconciling.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that played out or not, but I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah, they definitely reconciled. And I think now that they people are trying to see whether or not they want to reboot the show. I don't know if that's going to happen. With Tommy not being in the mix anymore. But yeah, they definitely reconciled.
Okay.
And came to terms with whatever happened, and they're trying to move. Looks like they're trying to move forward, which is good. Whatever, people make mistakes. Everybody deserves a second chance sometimes, and we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
I think another cameo that I always loved with this movie too was Groove and Chill.
Oh yeah,
Groove and Chill are actually phenomenal lyricists. They never, for some odd reason, they didn't really make it super huge though. They have a couple of really good songs. Like there's a hip hop song. There's one song that always comes on. It ain't nothing like hip hop music. That song is my song. When that song comes on, I jump up and I dance. I gotta dance, and I gotta break out one of the old school dances to it because it's so catchy. But they have the same wordplay and the back and forth between the two of them, like Kid and Play does. They don't dance as well as Kid and Play, but they have the same lyrical flow and commandment of the camera and presence and everything like Kid and Play. But for some reason, they never really made it as big as them. But yeah, I always get a kick out of seeing the two of them on scene together. They've actually gone on to throwing a couple movies here and there too. Chill has been in a bunch of things. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I've seen him in a bunch of shows. He's had guest appearances here and there. He pops up every now and then. Funny dude though, very funny. And our good friend Clifton Powell plays Pinky in Next Friday and Friday After Next with Shireen's brother.
Ah.
Yeah, when Sid went to pick Shireen up, he was on the phone. That's Pinky. And then we got our good friend Anthony Johnson, late Anthony Johnson, better known as Ezel. From Friday. He played Eazy-E in House Party. Follow the drip.
Oh, you mentioned Groove, and that reminded me of the one other funny scene that I was cracking up at when he was the drunk guy at the party. He couldn't hold his alcohol. And I think Play walked him back to his house, ring the doorbell, and then as soon as the front door opens, they just let him fall face first into the home, and they like kind of ran away.
True story. I know somebody that's happened to. I wasn't there. I wasn't a part of it, but I know someone I know some people that weren't involved in the situation like that. And when I heard about it, I was like, yo, you pulled a house party on the man? Like,
Yeah, that's a classic encounter there. That was funny. So yeah, it's a good time. This movie's a good time. So
Movie is a good time.
yeah.
yep, absolutely. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, so we want to do our official little review that we always do here. So the choices are bring that funky flick back, or leave it in the vault. So Boogie.
Bring the funky flick back. I love this movie. Soundtrack is phenomenal. Love this movie.
Yeah, kind of right.
With a glass of red Kool-Aid, bring that funky flick back. Can I get an amen, Boogie? I mean, it's not cherry, it's not strawberry, it's not fruit punch, it's red.
Red. Some Kool-Aid red.
Yeah, I agree. Bring that funky flick back. Bring that funky flick back. Yeah, kid and play are naturals as actors. Sometimes it doesn't work out when you just throw some of these hip hop artists on the screen, but these guys are naturals. These are naturals. And as you can see, they spawn multiple sequels.
These men are entertainers.
Oh, and a cartoon.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, in the cartoon. Yep.
I got to bring up one more thing, though. Speaking of red Kool-Aid, but you catch the references to Dick Gregory drink?
Yes.
I had to look that up.
Some of that Dick
What are you
Gregory.
talking about?
Some of that Dick Gregory.
Like a weight loss thing or something, right?
Yeah, it was a weight loss. It was a weight loss.
Romanian diet. There's so many little references that they throw in this movie, like
man.
CPT and Japanese people time. Oh,
Right. You know, the one that always cracked me up though is when he's talking about the Dolomite one, man. Because he said, "You don't want to watch Dolomite? You grew up on them. Way down in the jungle deep."
The jungle deep.
I know the whole thing, but I'm not even going to get into it. I learned it way before House Party.
I know. The ties to other films from this movie, like Dolomite and Robin Harris, of course, Bebe's Kids. Like I had to watch Bebe's Kids right after watching House Party because I had to get more Robin Harris.
Yeah, man, Bebe's Kids is another classic.
Robin Harris did not mess around as kid's dad. And unfortunately, as we were discussing offline, he died shortly after the film premiered in the theater. Yeah, he died real young. It's a shame.
Yeah, 9 days after it. Yeah.
Age 36.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a shame.
He was on the ascent upward too, because everybody knew him from stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, he was on Def Comedy Jam. You know, he did guest open up for, large, more established artists. You know, he did the comedy circuit. We knew he was funny, but now you see him on camera and like, oh, he's got camera presence funny. Mm-hmm. You know, he's got something that we can kind of run with. And unfortunately, he just didn't make it, Yeah. He had a bright future. He did. Robin Harris. Funny dude.
Yeah.
Rest in power, Robin Harris.
Absolutely.
Hip Hop Movie Club is produced by your HHMCs, JB, Boogie, and Dino Wright. Theme music by Boogie. Special thanks to Susan Berger, Tawanda Edwards, and Allison Yaris. Hit us up at hiphopmovieclub@gmail.com or on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Hip Hop Movie Club. You can also check us out at hiphopmovieclub.com. On the next episode of the Hip Hop Movie Club podcast, your HHMCs will discuss Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. Subscribe with your favorite podcast app and you won't miss it.
Remember, don't hate, participate.
Yes.
Participate.
and the roof coming down at the end.
Oh yeah.
Like the opposite of Wizard of Oz or something.
Yeah, they blew it off in his kid's dream, and it came out at the end.